Hello everyone, in this tutorial I'll show you some tricks about using IMM brushes on flat surfaces. Double click on this divider, click on the brush menu. Click on this little icon and drag this menu to the left. Release the button. Click on the modifier submenu and find the projection strength bar. I recommend you reduce the amount of projection strength modifier to 0 when you use IMM brushes on flat surfaces to project them without any distortion. Let me show you what can happen if you use IMM brushes on flat surfaces with a non-zero projection strength modifier. As you can see, there's some distortion on the top part of the IMM brush. Now I set the amount of projection strength to 0. As you can see, there are no distortions anymore. So don't forget to set the amount of projection strength to 0 on flat surfaces and move the projection strength slider to 100% on curved surfaces to have a correct projection. I already choose another brush. Let's set the amount of projection strength modifier to 0 because we use a flat surface. As you can see, there is no distortion on the IMM brush. I use split unmasked points with my hotkey and boolean with subtract operator. I will make the brush smaller a little bit and move it to the left in such a way that the brush goes out of the main subtool. Let me show you how you can make several copies of your brushes with the same distance between them using multicopy. First of all, let me show you how to use sticky mode. Pin icon above the axis arrow, the second one from the left, should be activated. Press the control button on your keyboard and drag your brush using the axis arrow and a distance that you prefer. Then press button 1 on your keyboard, which is the shortcut for replay last. Press button 1 several times to make several copies of the brush. Hold down the control button on your keyboard and click on the left mouse button. Drag your mouse on the canvas. Release control and left mouse button. Now you have a subtool with several meshes in the same distance between them. Click on the Go to Unmasked Mesh Center icon to move the Gizmo 3D to the center of your IMM brush. Let's move our IMM a little bit and place it in the center of the main subtool and increase the size of the brush. Let's move our brush down and click on the Go to Unmasked Mesh Center icon. After this, make a copy of your brush. To do this, hold down Ctrl and move your IMM up. Then let's rotate it on 180 degrees and move our IMM to the side to define a good place for projection to make a pattern. Hold down Ctrl and left mouse button and drag your mouse on the canvas to unmask our IMM. Let's repeat our steps. Hold down Ctrl and move your mesh up, then press on one button on your keyboard to repeat the last operation. Let's move it a little bit. Here's the result. Pretty cool. You can make an interesting result very fast using this method. For example, you can make a futuristic cyberpunk sci-fi walls or ceiling in a building using this method, or you can make an armor on your robot. Just open your mind and use your imagination. There are no limits to your creativity. Let me show you another way of making multiply copies of your brushes with the same distance between them. Let's create a new brush and rotate it. Don't forget to choose the right subtool to work with. As you can see, we rotate the cube, so let's choose the right subtool and rotate it. Let's reset an orientation. Click on the spin icon to activate a sticky mode. Hold down the control button on your keyboard and hold down the left mouse button and drag your mouse. When you will be happy with the distance between brushes, release the control button and continue dragging your mouse. Copies of the brush will start to appear. When you have created the right number of brushes, release the mouse right button. Let's repeat the process to populate more copies of brushes. When you finish making copies, hold down the control button and the left mouse button and drag your mouse on a canvas to activate the masking. Let's use an add operation. Then scale our brush a little bit. Actually no, let's use a subtract operator. Where is my brush projection effect now? Let's use an add operator and look what has happened. As you can see, our brush doesn't touch the surface of the model. That's why we cannot see the result. Let's make our brush smaller. Now, if you choose the subtract operator, you will see the result. But we still want to make our brush bigger. So, how to do this? It's pretty easy. Click on lock icon, then click on the Go to Unmasked Mesh Center icon. Now the gizmo in the center of your subtool. Click on the lock icon again. Now, as you can see, you can scale your brush and it always will be projected correctly on the surface of your model. Let's use a subtract operator and check it again. Now everything is correct. Let me show you a third way of making multiple copies of your brushes. I already choose another brush. Let's set the projection strength value to 0 because we are going to use it on a flat surface. Let's draw our brush. I decide to rotate it a little bit. Scroll down and find Array Mesh menu. Click on the Array Mesh icon. Let's change a Z amount value to change the distance between our brushes. Also, let's set the number of copies at the repeat menu item at 6. Now I decide to change the Z amount of value between our brushes to make a good result. Press on the duplicate icon to make a copy of our brushes. Then move our brushes down. Scroll down and find the deformation menu. Click on the mirror to make a mirror of our brushes. After this, scroll up, find a top subtool of our brushes, then click on the merge down icon at merge submenu. Change the dimension of our brush. Make 2 copies of it and find a good position for these brushes. Let's move them a little bit and make them smaller. Now you can scroll down, find the Array Mesh menu and activate Array Mesh button. You can change the distance between brushes using the amount slider and the number of copies using the repeat menu item. Here you can see the result. Let me show you what else you can do with IMM brushes using the Array Mesh tool. I already choose another brush and project it on the surface. The Array Mesh icon is activated. I use repeat and set the number of copies as 11. Then I click on the rotate icon and set the Y amount at 360 degrees. After this, you should click on the pivot icon and find good positions between brushes using, in my case, the X amount slider. I like the result. You can turn off the Array Mesh operator if you want. That's what we've got. That's another example of using IMM brushes. I already took a brush. Let's rotate it at 45 degrees and move it a little bit to find the perfect position. Let's duplicate our brush and use a subtract boolean operator. Scroll down and find the deformation menu. Click on the mirror icon, then scroll up, choose the top subtool that we need and click at the merge icon. Let's duplicate it again. Scroll down and find the deformation menu. Let's switch from X to Y now and click on the mirror icon. Scroll up, choose the top subtool that was duplicated and click at the merge down icon in the merge menu. Let's duplicate it and use the mirror at Z direction. Let's merge our brushes again. Now, click on the lock icon and click at the go to home icon. Reset the orientation and click on the lock icon again. Let's duplicate our brush and rotate it 90 degrees. After this, make another copy and rotate it in another direction 90 degrees. Now, merge down all our visible brushes to make them as one subtool. I divided my cube several times to make edges smooth. Then I decide to scale my subtool a little bit.
Let me show you some examples of what we can do using Insert Multi-Mesh Brushes in Zbrush. You can combine brushes like you want. Also, you can subtract brushes from each other or add brushes to other brushes to make very fast and interesting result on your model. There are 14 free hard surface IMM brushes for Zbrush from a huge pack of 3,861 brushes. You can use them as you want for any of your amazing projects. The free download link will be in the description below. Here are some rendered examples that were done just in minutes using these brushes. You can save a lot of your time for creativity and design using them. This huge pack has 3,861 hard surface real geometry IMM brushes with perfect quad topology. There are 3 types of brushes with different effects for any situation in this pack. For most motivated people, the link will be in the description below. Please check it. There will be other tutorials on this DRF channel soon, in which I explain to you more interesting tricks about IMM brushes and how to use them to make an amazing design. Thank you so much for watching this video. Stay creative and keep creating.